Jesus when he dies in 1 Peter 3, but he descends into the netherworld, and he preaches to the spirits who are in prison, the ones who were disobedient in the days of Noah. You can't preach to spirits if they can't listen. And so they, again, have an acute awareness. In Matthew, we read this. He's on the cross, he's dying. Jesus cries aloud in a voice. He says, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Which is Aramaic. And in Aramaic, it basically means, my God, why have you abandoned me? Why have you forsaken me? Which is the opening line of Psalm 22. And then we see that some of the bystanders heard it and said, this man is calling on Elijah. And then another verse later, others said, wait, let's see whether Elijah will come to save him. So there was actually a common belief that you could call upon someone like Elijah, and he would hear you and potentially be able to save you, or at least they were open to the possibility. They didn't just rule it out and mock him for doing it. Like, well, if he's going to call on Elijah, let's see what happens. Remember earlier, people ask who the Son of Man is, and so like, well, some say that you're, John the Baptist or Jeremiah or one of the prophets. So clearly, there was this kind of weird nebulous understanding that the dead could have some interplay with the living. Here's that passage from Kings. This is Elijah, who we see at the Transfiguration along with Moses. They were still off, and they talked, and behold, a chariot of fire and horses came and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up to heaven by a whirlwind. So Elijah seems to have been assumed in heaven in a very unique way, possibly akin to Enoch, who we see back in Genesis. We get to Enoch, and then Enoch found favor with God, and Enoch walked with God, rather than, and he died. You see Elijah being taken alive into heaven, which is why it would make sense for Christians or for Jewish people, onlookers, bystanders, to hear him saying that, mishearing Eloi, Eloi, and thinking he's saying Elijah, calling out for Elijah, and thinking that he's calling out for Elijah.